We recently had a lot of snow and ice in the valley. I didn't even have to put it in four-wheel drive. What luxury is this? The rear armrests. My God. I've still got the original manual and all the service receipts from when it was kept in Japan. You know, I don't know what they did, but it's all there. And also, if I need to find something out, I've just got to learn Japanese. So, ignition on. Love it. So here we go. Introduction to the new channel vehicle. This is a 1996 Japanese import Toyota Landcruiser. So you can see from the outside it's a bit mucky, as it was when I bought it. So there's a bit of a story behind how I bought this. Although I've been a big fan of these vehicles for ages, I'd sort of stopped looking because they were a bit out of my price range. I was looking for something to use for work that I could also sort of maybe use as a little off-road overland camper build as well. I was actually trying to find a Toyota Hilux, a bit more of a modern one. I was looking around 2013 age. I actually went over to Bradford to look at a Hilux, and I mean, Bradford's a bit notorious for bad cars, really, so I should have known what was coming. But the Hilux was awful. It had wood screws holding bumpers on. When I opened one of the rear doors, because it was a king cab, the hinge broke and it was knackered. It had been absolutely abused. But the guy out the back of his unit had 5 or 6 Land Cruisers. Most of them were Land Cruiser Prados. He also had Toyota AE86, Corolla, GTIs, really unusual Toyota. So as soon as I sort of got there and saw out the back of his unit, I thought, he knows what he's doing with his Toyotas, because he had some really some stuff that I've never seen in the UK before. The AE86 I've never seen in the UK before. He also had this. Now when I saw it at first, I thought it was grey because it was so dirty. All the tyres were flat. It had no MOT, leaking power steering pump, a few bits that needed doing with it. And I said to him, does it start? And he said, out of everything that's there, this is the one that will start. So he went and dragged his key out of his lockbox and popped it in, and half a crank and it had turned over and come on. So I offered him some money for it not as a non-runner because it was running, but it had no MOT, flat tyres and everything else, and we came to a deal. So I gave £7.5 grand for it, which if you don't know what it is, and it's a nearly 30-year-old, no MOT, leaking Toyota, then that might seem like a lot, but for these, it's really not a lot. It was kind of one of them meant to be moments, really. It is the 4.2 naturally aspirated import model, straight 6 engine. Because it's the naturally aspirated one, these things are so simple in their sort of parts that there's really not a great deal that can go wrong. It's a massive engine, 4.2, absolutely buckets of torque, and because it's such a massive engine block running fairly low horsepower, they go on forever. That's kind of what they're known for. Because it's the Japanese import one, you get all the nice little wind deflectors, or window caps, as our friend Billy calls them. The little curb mirror here on the front, which is on loads of import vehicles. A bit of paintwork on it needs doing, but the main thing that these suffer with is chassis rust and a bit of bodywork rust. They can be quite bad in the wheel arches on the back. This one is pretty much immaculate, other than this rear upper tailgate around the window. These always go. So you can see here it's bubbling all the way around here. I have actually already got a replacement for that that's sat in the workshop. I just need a bit of time to get it on. So we might as well start from here. Another one of the features that I love on these Land Cruisers is split tailgate. These struts are also a little bit, they are still working, they're just a little bit, they've had their day. They are the original ones because they've still got the Japanese writing on, which is cool to see. I love all that. And also I've still got the original manual and all the service receipts from when it was kept in Japan. and I can't, I don't know what they did, but it's all there. And also, if I need to find something out, I've just got to learn Japanese. So, split tailgate, and as you can see, I've already been using it for work. That's one of the things that I wanted, was something I can still use for work, but also use as, going to do maybe a little overland camper build. I've also just had a daughter, so I need something I can get a car seat in. So this is kind of something that will do everything for me. I can fold those seats down, I'll show you that now, and this becomes a work van, or I can fold them back, put the car seat in, and it becomes a family vehicle. So just like that. And it's plenty big enough for what I need for work, really. I'm still doing bits of site work and delivering cabinets and stuff, so it's pretty good. I mean, as you can see, it's been sort of used as they should be. It's a bit filthy and a bit abused, but really no rust is all that matters for me. If you come round the side, Dave, I'll show you one of the other things. I've also got, so in the back seats, what I love is there is a seat in the middle here, but you've also got rear armrests.
Sweet.
What luxury is this? Rear armrests. Oh my God. And also, I think this might be an aftermarket one because it's a little bit, but DVD player, and it has a little, that's what the cables are in the back. So I think you could get, it's got like really old school cable attachments. So I think you could get your PS2 wired up. Got all the original carpets, which are a very thick shag pile. Yeah. They need a bit of a redo. I may even dye them a bit darker. Here we go, here's the old, the original manual and maintenance notes. Oh, yeah. Look at these, all of these from all the maintenance that was done in Japan. Really cool. They're all really nice to look at, and a lot of it they have like little symbols on everything. You can kind of work out what they're trying to say, but I just like the little guys they have. And there's loads of receipts and stuff that it came with of all the work. Oh yeah.
It's like Fallout, isn't it?
Yeah. How good is that?
That's amazing.
So up front we've got, now the only thing that isn't standard, which kind of annoys me, is the head unit. It's got this Pioneer head unit in, which I don't really like. I would rather it had the original tape decks. So there's a bit of a, I have actually got a new one of these, the gear selector, so it's an automatic that you can see. But look at this, you can still got the Japanese writing on the top. Really cool. And there's also these bits on the doors as well, which I love. So this is for your high and low range four-wheel drive.
All right.
So that when you're off-roading, if you need to put it into the low range gearbox, you can, it basically will crawl over terrain a lot easier.
Right.
These are meant to be some of the best vehicles you can buy, sort of straight off the shelf, stock. Put some tyres on it and they will go anywhere. I mean, we recently had a lot of snow and ice in the valley. I didn't even have to put it in four-wheel drive. Sort of surprised me a little bit. I knew it was going to be good stock, but I didn't realise how good. And that's one of the other things, is that I've had a lot of plans in the past where I've thought of having an 80 series and doing, overland builds. And there's a company called Camp Tech, and they make pop tops for these vehicles. Really cool stuff. And if you look at all the stuff that they do in Australia, everyone's got 4-inch lift, massive 40-inch tyres, roof rack builds, all this stuff, pop tops and everything. But then when I finally got one and all the bodywork's good, it's all original. Now all I want to do is sort of polish it and leave it as standard. Yeah. They were so good, and they were so good when they come off the assembly line. It's kind of arrogant of me to go, oh, I can make that better by doing this, I can make that better by doing that. And I actually think that they're such a good vehicle as they are, why bother? So we're going to try and keep it as stock as possible. It's got electric mirrors, it has electric lumbar adjustment on the seats. Everything works as well, which is what amazes me with a 30-year-old vehicle. It has electric sunroof, also has compass, altimeter, You know, like stuff like that is so cool. You know, you can tell when they built this, they knew what they were doing. This is what it was for. It was for, you know, exploring, off-roading, and I just love stuff like that.
What year is it again?
96.
What year were you born?
94.
It's nearly as old as
Yeah.
you. That's good, isn't it?
I know, and it's in better condition, definitely. But to be fair to the guy that sold it me, he gave me a good price on it. You know, he wanted a lot more than that for it, but I bought it in the condition it was in. And I said to him, "Are you going to trailer it over?" And he said no, and he just pumped the tyres up and he drove it over. And, you know, so that sort of told me that, you know, he had a lot of faith in this vehicle anyway, you know. And so it was sort of, you know, we were both happy by the end of it. It has double bin. This chapstick came with the vehicle, free,
For emergencies.
free of charge. A bit of engine oil in the bin. These centre console bins, you would not believe how expensive they are.
Really?
To buy that thing online, I think they're over 100 quid.
Oh.
So a load of this stuff, to a lot of people, may just look like old grey Toyota plastic, but it's quite valuable. But there's loads of stuff that I just love on it, that like the carpet on the bottom of the doors. So as you're getting out, your feet don't mark the door. And it's something that with my big feet and long legs always happens. I always scuff the doors. I just love stuff like that. And also, after having viewed so many Hiluxes that are a lot more modern than this, and modern to me as vehicles, you know, 2013 plate and stuff, I just don't like them. I don't like sitting in them, whereas I sit in this and I just love it. I love how like authentic it is, and it's got like a little analog digital clock and stuff. I love all that stuff. It had a steering wheel cover as well, because it's a bit scabby, but I just took that off because I quite like it. I like a thin steering wheel. For its age, this car starts quicker than any vehicle I've ever had. Ignition on. Love it. With the camper build, what I'm thinking is, so obviously like having bought this, it kind of changed my outlook a little bit when I got it, and you know, all the paintwork was pretty good. There's only that door that needs replacing really, no rust. You know, I certainly don't want to be chopping a massive hole out of the roof of it when it's this good as is. So I think first of all, the first stage what we do is do some sort of a camper build in here that is super basic. What you could do with one of these vehicles if you haven't got a lot of money, but you know, bit of materials, you know, basic bed set up, somewhere to cook, bit of onboard water, and take it camping. Because really, and you know, I do a lot of big fancy vans with, you know, and they get newer and newer and more complicated electrical systems, more complicated gas and heating and everything. And actually, what this reminds me of is that you don't actually need any of that. You know, it can be really simple, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, I think we proved that with the Aygo, that it hasn't got to be massive either. Maybe do something really, really sort of pared back and simple in terms of the conversion, and then eventually custom roof rack, and got some plans for some sort of modular system that will have heater and internet and things like that. But also I do still have my big camper van, so I'd like it to be able to, that I can use it in the Landcruiser or use it in the van. So we're going to work on something that, if you're like me and you've got a couple of vehicles, or you don't want to be tied to one vehicle, you can, you know, unhook it, unclip it, take it in your other vehicle if you want to heat it that. And the same with the internet and water systems, and you know, maybe an outdoor shower and stuff. So, and take it on some off-road camping and, you know, enjoy it.
Yeah.
See what it's capable of. In terms of, you know, bumps and scuffs and stuff, I'm not bothered about that. Oh yeah, another thing as well, headlight washers.
What?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Crazy. 28 years old or whatever it is. It's wild.